Tad Lincoln's Restless Wriggle, written by Beth Anderson, illustrated by S.D. Schindler. I don't know but I may succeed in governing the nation, but I do believe I shall fail in ruling my own household. Abraham Lincoln. Thomas Lincoln wriggled from the moment he was born. Like a tadpole, thought Abraham, and he called his son Tad. The name stuck. So did the wriggle. Born with an opening in the roof of his mouth, Tad baffled listeners with words that twisted and tumbled out of control. Few people understood him as he ran and jabbered and bubbled with ideas. The president's house had never hosted the likes of Tad Lincoln. Tad careened through the East Room in his chariot, scattering shrieking ladies into corners. "Get out of the way!" The staff huffed. Children should not be seen, and certainly not heard. Tad's mother, Mary, groaned while his father tried to hold back his laughter. Amid the sorrow of civil war, a little trouble seemed a small price to pay for a bit of Tad's sunshine. Tad seemed to be everywhere at once, everywhere except his classroom. Tutor after tutor tried. Letters have sounds. But letters didn't make sense to Tad. Lessons launched down the hall and out the door. "Let him run," said Papa. Tad ran, from stable to portico, attic to basement, soldiers' camp to bam! Tad burst through the door, leaped onto his father, squeezed him with a wild hug, and scurried out. Statesman grumbled. Couldn't he knock? Papa's eyes lit up as Tad's laughter faded down the hall. Since the death of Tad's brother Willie a year ago, father and son needed each other more than ever. Papa guided Tad's wriggle through the streets of Washington. As his father attended to presidential business, Tad watched and listened and learned. At the telegraph office, Papa read messages from generals on battlefields. At hospitals, he comforted wounded soldiers. On the way home, Papa picked up stray kittens, chatted with storekeepers, and thanked volunteers raising money for bandages. When Tad turned 10, the Lincoln family visited an army camp. They slept in tents, reviewed troops, and trotted across the countryside while cannons boomed in the distance. Back home, Tad led his own troops, racing his pony across the lawn, chasing Nanny Goat through flower beds, burying toy soldiers under rose bushes. Papa chuckled, but the gardener raged. If the boy's father wouldn't do something, someone else would have to. That goat would have to go. While Tad was away, Nanny disappeared. In search of a new playmate, Tad surveyed the line of visitors waiting to see his father. Too many people, and Papa never turned anyone away. Tad sprang into action. He questioned one person after another. People struggled to understand his jumbled words. Women requested passes across enemy lines. Families begged for money. Politicians wanted favors. Like his father, Tad listened to each one's story. Though he couldn't read books, he could read people. He sent the greedy home and took the most deserving upstairs. Papa smiled. But when generals appealed for bandages and medicine, Papa's shoulders slumped lower and his face sagged sadder. Tad's brain wriggled with ideas to raise money. Though numbers on the slate confused him, Tad understood business. He charged 5-cent tolls at the stairway until Papa opened the gate. Tad sold apples, jerky, and broken toys until Papa asked him to close. Tad raided his parents' wardrobes and held a yard sale until Papa dashed out to save his suits. But Tad had seen a twinkle in Papa's eyes. So he kept trying. Retreating to Papa's office, Tad offered a pen for presidential notes and kept his father company while he worked. Long about midnight, Papa scooped up his son and carried him to bed. Papa guided Tad's wriggle into the streets of Washington. As his son delivered special messages on his own, Papa watched the restless wriggle settle into Tad's heart. On the way to the War Department, Tad cheered the soldiers. On the way to the Fire Department, he gave coins to the homeless. On the way home, Tad picked up stray dogs and rounded up street kids and marched them into the kitchen. When the cook protested, this was the president's house. Tad persisted, but this was his home. And when a turkey arrived near the end of the year, Tad took charge. He introduced Jack to his menagerie, and within days the bird strutted after him like a new recruit. The staff chuckled. The cook shook her head. She'd have to get that turkey back. On Christmas Eve, Jack disappeared. Tad raced from stable to portico, attic to basement, soldiers' camp to squawk! Tad burst into the kitchen. There was Jack with the cook. Tad scrambled up the stairs and barged into his father's office. His words gushed and tumbled, pleading for Jack, proclaiming his goodness. Papa understood. He scribbled an official note excusing Jack from dinner. Tad grabbed the paper and rushed off to rescue his pet. With Jack safe, Tad sorted through his presents. Papa would never have time to read all these books to him. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. Books! For soldiers in the hospital! Arms loaded, he hurried to Papa's office to share his plan. Papa grinned and drew Tad close. Yes, my son, send a big box. Ask Mother for plenty of warm things. Pack in all the good eatables. Tad dashed from bedrooms to kitchen to pantry. He commandeered blankets and socks and treats. He jabbered and shrieked as he piled up gifts for the soldiers. Though Tad couldn't write a note himself, his message was clear as he filled the very big box with love and comfort and a wriggle of sunshine.